you. You know, every year at Christmas time, certainly when I hear Yvette sing that song, it brings me back to when I was a child. Anybody? You know, can you all remember your Christmases when you were children? Like special little things? I know that everything that's happened in every Christmas that's ever been brings us to this night, to this Christmas Eve. Every Christmas Eve you've ever experienced brings you here. I can see my mama Mellon sitting on Spring Street, baking thousands of things for our Christmas ceremony. And I can remember my mother sitting up really late, wrapping all the toys, because I would sneak down and watch over the stairs. And they would just wrap everything. And I remember waiting to hear Santa Claus on the roof and the reindeer. And haven't we all heard them too? Oh my God, you can really hear them up there. All of this comes together every single year.
Around the tree, Mama whistling
Yep.
takes me back again. There's something about December. We're hanging mistletoe and wishing that it snowed. I close my eyes and then I can still remember how to get back home. Let all your memories hold you close, no matter where you are. You're not alone, because the ones you love are never far. If Christmas is in your heart.
Because that's really where it is, right? In your heart.
Who really needs a gift?
I do.
When love is meant to give, I can still recall, carry with me always every Christmas dream. They live in you and me. Let all your memories hold you close, no matter where you are. You're not alone, because the ones you love are never far. If Christmas is in your heart. Lights around the tree, Mama's whistling takes me back again. There's something about December. Let all your memories hold you close, no matter where you are. You're not alone, because the ones you love are never far. If Christmas is in
So, how'd that feel? Did it take you back? So, I get to have the last word on Christmas. Duh. My daughter went, duh. So, something about December. Reverend Nancy brought it up, and she has a memory in December. But when Christmas comes along, when December comes along, and suddenly, well, first of all, does anybody feel like Christmas is just starting a little too soon? Like now it's like Halloween is the beginning of Christmas. Well, not for me, not in my house. And this year, because we've been so busy, I actually get to have a tradition that I've had my whole childhood. At our house in Philadelphia, every Christmas Eve was the night that we would decorate the tree. Anybody else? Is this just an East Coast thing? You too? Right. So every Christmas Eve, the tree was up and the lights were on it, but only on Christmas Eve did you decorate the tree. And then you went to bed. And then when you woke up the next day, Santa had come and everything was underneath the tree. So when Kevin and I met, and I did it like that all the way through until the year I met Kevin. Because when Christmas came around, he brought out all these decorations. I was like, oh, no, that's for Christmas Eve. He went, no. You decorate the tree when you put it up. And I was like, no, really? You do it on Christmas Eve? Did you not do that at your house? He said, no, and we won't be doing it here. So every single year for the last 28 years, we have decorated the tree weeks before, except this year, because I kept him so busy he didn't even notice. So tonight, I get to go home and live with the tradition of, right guys? Decorating the tree tonight. And Kevin is so excited. Because here's what he said to me. He said, that's the dumbest tradition. So you decorate it on Christmas Eve and you take it down on New Year's. You've only enjoyed it for 7 days. But what 7 days they are. So all of these great traditions that we've all had. So December comes along, and for me, Christmas begins on Thanksgiving. That's where the Christmas season starts, because Santa Claus is at the end of the Macy's Day Parade. So clearly, it is meant that Christmas starts when Santa comes into Macy's Village. And I believe that's the spiritual message of it as well. So what I'd like to read for you is a quote from Ernest Holmes. And he says this, and it's about Christmas. This is how he talks about Christmas. It's interesting, before I read that, navigating the holidays, navigating Hanukkah and Christmas and Easter, navigating them from a new thought perspective. A lot of people say to me, what's it feel like to have to figure all this out? And we never got you a chair. You okay there? You look gorgeous. You're perfect. So people will say to me, they'll be like, what's it like trying to figure out new thought? But I have to be honest with you. What is new thought? It's just understanding the things you've always understood with maybe a little bit of a different perspective. Maybe you have grown a little bit into a new awareness of something. That's all it is. Do I celebrate Christmas? Absolutely. Do I celebrate Hanukkah? Yes. Any holiday that gives gifts, yeah, I'm there. So it's understanding these holidays from a perspective of expansion. I don't think anything is ever meant to sit stagnant and be only one thing. I think every single one of us are the infinite, eternal energy of creative force, this life force that is begging us, daring us to be something more, something bigger, something more expansive. So this is what Ernest Holmes said. He wrote, "Asleep in the heart of cosmic love, unborn, universal, potential, the Christ child lay. And the great mother soul, brooding over her unborn child, conceives it in the stillness of her universal nature, imparting to it her own being." So what Ernest Holmes does is try to understand this in a different way. And what he's saying here is that asleep inside of every single one of us is the newborn baby. And that there is a stable somewhere just waiting for us to allow it to birth us. And that the mother energy that is inside of us, the mother-father energy, that creative energy that is inside of us, is ready to birth us at any moment when we are willing to be birthed into this new form, this new understanding. So every Christmas, we get to celebrate this new understanding of who we are. We must take these holidays personally. You must be willing to take Christmas personally. Not just as a holiday of giving gifts and getting gifts, but a personal understanding inside of you. What wants to be born inside of you tonight? What has been in there that has just been begging you to hear it, to honor it, to respect it, to give it birth, and to give it a lot of room to grow? He goes on to say this: born into time and experience, unnoticed, unseen, yet alive and aware, the Christ child incarnated in human form, taking the likeness of men and women, yet giving no sign of its presence, waiting with utmost patience and love the revelation that should disclose itself and proclaim the reign of peace. So we celebrate Christmas as peace on earth, goodwill to men and women. Well, there is something inside of you and something inside of me that already is peace on earth. There is a consciousness, there's an energy inside of every single one of us. That's why when Christmas comes along and we hear the carols and we watch the lights and we watch the trees go up, doesn't something in you just kvel? Doesn't something in you just expand? Can't you just feel yourself being joyful? Last week when we went Christmas caroling, and there were over 70 people at our house Christmas caroling, and just hearing that and watching everybody's beautiful faces as they walked and sang to people. You know, that's what's going on inside of us. There is something inside of us that is literally bubbling up. And I don't just mean here, right here in this room. I mean on earth. I think love and peace and joy and honor and respect, I honestly believe that that is bubbling up in every corner of this planet. It may not look like it sometimes. We may be frightened at some of the things we see, some of the people we see. But the truth is, we must not stop when we see that. We must be willing to look beyond whoever it is that may be frightening us, or whatever government thing is going on that may make you frightened or scared. We must be willing to understand that the enormity of the universe, the population of planet Earth alone, is much bigger than the few people who seem to run it. Because the truth is, you run this planet. I run this planet. The hearts and souls of every individual runs this planet. And if we were willing to find peace and love in our own hearts, just our own hearts, just mine, just my individual heart, and join with Ellen as she finds it in herself, and join with Nancy and Nora and Barbara and Yvette and Kevin, and then just plant through this entire room Eden, and recognize that when we find it in ourselves and then see it in another, we are creating peace on earth, and we are birthing something new, something amazing. So when he talks here and proclaim the reign of peace, peace over any type of discord. So I would like to say to all of you tonight, if there's any discord in you at all, if there's anything going on in your life that may feel a little inconsistent with the love that we share all the time here, if there's anything, exactly. Tonight, give birth to that within you that is capable of overcoming anything. Tonight, give birth to what we call the Christ consciousness. And that is not, the Christ consciousness is not just for one religion. It is an understanding of a consciousness, a high level of consciousness, as Emerson called it, the top kingdom, the kingdom where you are in your highest place. Because here's the deal. When you are in your highest place, you attract everyone who is in their highest place. And then when you start living in that highest level of that Christ consciousness, and you are attracting that all around you, that just ripples out. and just keeps going out. And one by one, everyone falls into place and recognizes the truth that all there's ever been is love. All there's ever been is light. All there's ever been is success. All there's ever been is prosperity. All there's ever been is health. All there has ever been is the truth at the smallest part of your soul. So before you go to bed tonight, here's my blessing for you. I want you to know that as you go to bed tonight, every single person in this room is thinking about you. Every single person in this room brings their love to you, so that when you close your eyes tonight, you don't close your eyes as one person. You close your eyes as someone who recognizes that he or she is one with every single person in this room, and that this room reverberates out and out and out and out. And then we go back to our grown-up Christmas list, our grown-up Christmas wish. Because I don't know if you're like me, but I remember when I was little, my biggest wish was that Christmas never ended. Anybody else? It was like, okay, I'll go to sleep on Christmas Eve, but when I wake up, I don't want to have to go to sleep again. I want Christmas to be every day of the year. How many of you thought that? Every day of the year. Santa would be exhausted. But to make Christmas every day of the year, well, here's how you can do that. You get in touch with the love that's in your heart, and you recognize it with every single other person in this room, and then you just exponentially expand that out into the world. And frankly, as Ernest Holmes says, it really will be Christmas every single day of the year. That's what wants to be born tonight. And that is what will be born tonight, because it's being born right here, right now, in my mind, and we share the same mind. Merry Christmas.